How to buy your first rental property. What's up, guys? It is Jeff Trevarthen, Jeff the Mortgage Pro. Thanks so much for watching my videos. If you would do me a huge favor and like and subscribe to my channel, that helps the algorithm, that helps get my message out to all the different people out there that I hope to reach someday and help them out with their mortgages going forward. So today's topic, we're looking at how to buy your first rental property. And this is going to be, there's a million different ways to buy investment property. You can look at all the different channels of real estate investors that are out there on YouTube and find a million different ways to do it. But this is going to be like the traditional way that most people would enter the real estate market in buying an investment property. That's using a loan to buy the property. And that is, probably looking and finding something on the MLS or maybe something that's just listed or something that comes from a real estate agent. So I would say that this is the most likely way that you're going to get your first rental property, but it's not the only way to get an investment property. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So number one, the first thing you want to do is decide that you want to do this. And what I mean by decide is that when you're looking for like a primary residence, you're going to look at things like, does it have an updated kitchen? Is it really beautiful? Does it have great curb appeal? And those things are all emotional type things when you're looking for a property that you're going to live in to call home. But when you're looking for an investment property, the number one thing that you need to be concerned about is, do the numbers work? So you have to decide going forward that if the numbers don't work on the property that I'm going to try to buy, then that's probably not a good property for me to spend my money on. And you want to make sure that those numbers work over and over again. So decide that this is going to be your business. This is going to be your investment. This is going to return a positive cash flow for you. The last thing I would want you to do is throw more money at a property just to have it not even cash flow going forward. So don't do that. Okay. So to decide that you want to buy. Second thing you want to do is determine what your budget is. So there's some things to consider here, like down payment and cash to close, your debt to income ratio, your credit scores, and the reserves that you're going to need left over after you're done with the purchase, because most investors want reserves left over in the bank in case something happens to the property. So those are definitely things to consider. So in determining your budget, make sure that you reach out to a professional loan officer, somebody like myself, Jeff the Mortgage Pro, Jeff Trevarthen. Happy to help you out in any of those instances there. Okay. The third thing you want to do is determine where you want to buy the property. So it doesn't have to be local. It can be out of state. It can be out of the area. It can be anywhere across the United States that you think that you want to buy a property. I would say most people are going to start on the lower end of the spectrum. They want properties that are not as expensive because they have less cash tied up going forward. So when you're looking for your first investment property, there's so much technology out there that you could buy a property that's 3,000 miles away and never even have to visit that property, as long as you find the right people to help you out with that transaction going forward. So determine where you want to buy the property. There's many great opportunities in smaller markets all across the US. Number 4 step is to get pre-approved by me. And that means that we'll look at your income, assets, credit, and liabilities. We'll estimate the rental income that's going to come in from the property. And we're going to figure out, hey, how much can we get you pre-approved for? And then try to really stay within that budget. Remember that things are going to fluctuate up and down, especially interest rates. You're going to have definitely a higher interest rate than you are on your primary residence mortgages. And you're definitely going to have a little bit of a cost to it associated with points when you're going to buy investment property. So just expect that when you get pre-approved. Step number 5, you're going to find a buyer's agent that really specializes in investment properties in that particular market. So if you don't know anybody or you need a trusted source, please make sure you let me know. I'm happy to find through my network lots of different real estate agents anywhere in the country that we can help you out and figure out, hey, are these guys going to represent you to the fullest? When you're ready to go and you have that real estate agent, you're going to make offers on the property, especially if you're buying out of the area. You're really going to need to rely on the professionals that are associated with the transaction. So number one, you're going to need to rely on that real estate agent. That's why it's really important that you trust them. And then they're going to have vendors that they use for inspections, and really, really dig deep into these inspections, especially, things like mold or mildew, things like termite damage, things like foundation damage. Stay away from properties like that, especially if you're going to buy your first investment property. There's plenty of other deals out there that are going to work for you. So make sure that you determine that this is the right investment property. It's not a lot of stuff wrong with it when you do the inspections, and you're going to be able to rent it out for a decent amount of price. You want to close really quickly on these properties. And one of the cool things about mortgages, and you probably already know this, especially if you already have your own mortgage, is that mortgages are paid in arrears. So what that means is that you're paying the previous month accrued interest and a portion of the principal balance when you make your mortgage payment on the first of every month. So when you close on a mortgage transaction, you usually get to skip the next month's payment because you're paying prepaid interest at closing. As an example, if you close on the 15th of the month, you're going to pay prepaid interest from the 15th of the month through the 30th of the month, or the 31st, depending on how long that month is. And then your first mortgage payment isn't going to be due for another month after that. So you have, roughly 45 days to get a renter in there to generate cash flow. So if there's any repairs you need to do, you can get in there and do those really quick. Get that renter in there before you actually have to make your first mortgage payment. That's the goal when you get these rental properties. And that's why you want to click on them as fast as you can. Time is of the essence. One of the great things about buying investment properties is that when they may not be an investment property to begin with. It might be just a single family home that somebody's selling, but it might make a really good rental property. And so we may not know what the rental income is that's going to come in, but when that appraiser goes out there, they're going to help you determine what the market rent is. They're going to do that by what's called a rental survey. So we can use that number as a good estimate going forward about how much income we're going to be able to generate from that particular property in itself. And again, we're assuming we're buying just a single family property as our first rental property going forward. And then once you get your first rental property, you're going to want to rinse and repeat. You're going to want to do this over and over and over again. You're going to buy as many as you can, right? When you get enough down payment saved up, you're going to buy another one. And when you get enough down payment saved up, you're going to buy another one. And then you're going to start getting in the world of real estate investing. You'll find out that there's lots of different sources of private money out there. There's people that will help you, fix and flip properties. There's also sorts of different types of loans for this type of stuff. And going forward, you're going to have a pretty good idea of how to do this. One of the things that I always want to mention too is that the more rental properties you have, the less risk there is. What do I mean by that, right? If you have one rental property that you own and that property is vacant, what's the vacancy rate on that? That's 100% vacant. That means that you're going to have to pay the mortgage payment out of your own pocket on that particular property. But let's say you own 10 rental properties and one of them goes vacant. That's only a 10% vacancy ratio. So hopefully the cash flow generated from those other 9 properties would help you pay for that mortgage payment every month. See what I mean? So the more rental properties you get, the more doors you have, the less risk there is when you have vacancies in properties going forward. So buy more, buy a bunch of them, have a whole portfolio going forward. This is a great way to have passive income, and hopefully one day that might be able to replace your regular income going forward. Hey, if you enjoyed this, please make sure you like and subscribe down below. If you want to buy an investment property anywhere in the United States with the traditional way that we're talking about in this video, I'm going to put my Calendly link down below. Go ahead and click on it. We'll schedule a 15 to 20-minute call. I'd love to chat with you about your goals on buying investment property and help you out with the financing part of that. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, guys. Bye.